Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It is Sat Chat time. Did you miss me last week? Probably not. I think I put out a lot of videos during my absence on my vacation. But this is Sat Chat. Basically, if you're new here, Sat Chat is just a weekly wrap-up of stuff we've done, and we just talk about what's going on in the world, and we catch up with each other in the comments down below. So if that sounds cool to you, then stick around. If it doesn't sound like your cup of tea, then catch the next video because it will probably be something that you will prefer. I do have a tutorial coming up tomorrow of one of my World Watercolor Month sketches, and yeah, lots of art and crafty goodness otherwise on my channel. So if you want a tutorial, I got you covered. This ain't it. Honey, pick another video. This ain't gonna do the trick for you. So I don't have any notes today. Actually, just look at my phone because oftentimes I will, I'll jot stuff down as I think of it during the week. But no, I don't really have any notes. It's been 2 weeks since I filmed. I feel like I'm in like one of those confession rooms. It's been 2 weeks since my last confession, because this is kind of what Sat Chat feels like, right? It's kind of like a confession. So this week we did a live stream, which was super fun. I went through my my just random card making supplies and just like bits and bobs and things I've been hanging on to, and I just kind of like strewed it all out on my table and we made some cards. So I think what did we make, like 6 cards maybe? After a 2-hour live stream, but it was a lot of fun. And if you like just kind of using up your stash, using what you have, that video went up. Well, it was live streamed on Tuesday, I think, and you can find that. And if you go to my blog, thefrugalcrafter.wordpress.com, I added photos of the cards that we made on my blog, so you can see those. And of course, you can watch a video there too, because I try to always embed my videos to my blog. I'm not perfect at that. I haven't gotten every single video up on my blog. I used to be really good at that, but hopefully I'll be good at that again. but I do tend to, I don't put everything up, but we're all a work in progress, aren't we? So what have I done this week? Other than that, so yesterday I had such a mess after making those cards that I redid my card. Actually, I should show you that because that's probably more interesting. So let's see. I'm gonna have to say close your eyes if you get motion sick. I'm gonna move my camera just a little bit here, and I'm going to roll my little card cart over here so that I can so I can show you. It's not that much different than the last time I did my card cart. Actually, now that I've given the disclaimer, probably people have left that might actually like to see how I organized this. But it's not too different. I'm going to see if I can tip that down without dropping my camera. There we go. Okay, so up top, as usual, I have my card bases. These are all card bases. Some of these are ones that I actually gel printed on, and we used some of those during the craft along. And then these are just some A2 pre-cut bases. Here I have things to color. These are like the Alt New marker and watercolor coloring books. And then I have a little packet, because sometimes you stamp extra things and you don't use them all in your project, so I have those in there. So anytime I feel like doing something but I'm not inspired, I can grab those, or if I'm going to a friend's house to craft. I trimmed down my scraps of cardstock to standard sizes, so these are all actually these 3 bins, and they don't have these at the Dollar Tree anymore, but they were great. They were in like a pack of 4 at the Dollar Tree, and they're perfect for holding the A2 layers. So an A2 card in America is, so I think it means a different size in the rest of the world, but in America that would be a card that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it's made by half a sheet of cardstock. So I took all my like scraps of cardstock and cut them down to 4 inches by 5 1/4, so they layer up on like on an A2 card base and give you like a little 1/8 of an inch border like that. So that way it just makes, and I have these kind of in rainbow order, so it just makes card crafting a lot quicker when I do want to sit down and make some cards. And then scraps that were smaller than that, I cut them either into 3 inches by 4 inches, because that's what this is one of those wooden, I'll kind of lift it out a little bit. It's one of those wooden crates from the Dollar Tree. You could get it in the Crafter's Square aisle. So I cut down my paper to 3 inches by 4 inches, or ATC size, which is 2 1/2 by 3 1/2 inches, depending on how big the scraps are. And these, what I'll do with these is actually, I will use a piece of washi tape and tape these onto the inside of my card, and that way somebody can remove this and reuse the card. Or I'll just use it if I need to punch something or die cut something, but it's just a way for me to make use of those. Now this right here, I have a video on making these. These are all serendipity backgrounds, so basically what I did was I just took all my scraps that were smaller than 3x4 back at the beginning of the pandemic, and I punched and tore and, you know, took them all and just collaged them and trimmed them down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. So I'd have all these layering panels. Now let's see if we can pan down to the next row. This is like this right here. These are all card fronts. These are things like extra things that I colored, and I could just stick them on a card and go. So they're all in there. I could easily take that with a to a crop. These are all like just little die cuts and embellishments that are flat, that are separated by theme. I have little like bookmarks that I've made. A lot of these are embellishments that I made, envelopes, things like that that I would use like to decorate a journal or put in a journal or into the back of a sketchbook or something. Just things I thought were cool. I have guitar string envelopes in there. Lots of interesting stuff. These are all small like collage things, so like little pads of collage papers. They're almost like just little pattern papers, really. And then like the cut aparts when you buy pattern paper or pattern paper pads, and they have a couple sheets that are just like journal cards that you cut apart, so those are in there. Little tickets and things like that to add as embellishments. I've got a little tin of watercolor postcards that I can use when I want to just do a little watercolor card front or something. These are sticker books and stickers, so I can use them for collage and on my cards. Here I have twines, so like these are like cords that are almost used up, like little things from like braiding cords and stuff that I'm just about out of. So I put those in here so I'd use them up. I actually have this little stamp set of wings because I think that's kind of fun and I might use it on something. I want to use it on something, so that will remind me. And then I've just got some baker's twine that I put on little bobbins. The stamps from Pink Persimmon. They're no longer in business, but you could cut your own bobbins. So I just stuck my baker's twine, some different kinds on there just so I'd have them ready to go. And then I've got, maybe I can twirl this around. I'm going to try to, so you can see this other side. You never know what you're going to get in a sat chat, friends. You never know. And then I didn't have a little box that would fit in here, so I just kind of tucked these in. These are labels. So these are labels that I've either made or purchased. So these are ones I made with my scan and cut and sticker paper. These are from the stamp die from my Paper Craft Society box, and then I just made a mask so I can make up like stamp stickers. These are some I stamped from a paper tray ink set, and they're fun to like add over stamped flowers and whatnot. It's like a seed packet. And then that, I'm not sure if I'm gonna use those up or just get rid of them because they're just leftover die cuts. And this is little, they're little like ledger paper stickers, like sheer stickers. So those would be cool for layering up on cards and collage. And then these things all here are just, well, I have a set of label stamps, and then I've got the set of stamps from Rubber Stamp Tapestry that are little sentiments to put on the inside of your cards, so that like when I have my little insert that I tape in there, I have a stamp that says basically use this card and then take out the note and reuse it. More eloquently than that, it's basically feel free to reuse this card and send it to somewhere else. And then I just have basic sentiments, my favorite little sentiment stamps, a label stamp, a stitching stamp, and a couple more sentiment stamps. But just so like, yeah, I can make a card quickly. Those are the things that I always go for. And because I find that I'm not a fussy card maker, I don't like to have to, I don't want to reinvent the wheel every time. Here I have some fabric tape that I've had forever, and I thought I'm putting it in the card cart so I actually use it. And then I've got these teeny tiny little collage paper books. My husband got me some for my birthday. They have different themes like celestial, butterflies, some like ledger, lots of different cool botanicals and things like that. Some of those were in the Stationery Pal. Some of the bigger ones were in the Stationery Pal unboxing. These are like little butterflies and stuff. So just really fun, handy, a little smattering of everything. And these containers come either 2 or 3 for $1.25 at Dollar Tree. And they're great because I nest them together. So this one's all die cuts. I have all, oh, now they fall through. Actually, I need to rethink that because a lot of those die cuts will fall through the edges. I just put some small ones that I punched out of circles, and they're all falling through. But they generally don't. Maybe I'll just line that. But those are all die cuts. There's a lot of like the flowers, like the Tim Holtz flowers and butterflies. I like those a lot. They'll go, like, these are mostly they're mostly all butterflies and flowers. However, I've got a few like clock faces that I just had a few left over that I've had for ages. And then in the bottom, I've got rolls of my postage stamp washi tape, which the set that I have is no longer available. And then I've got a couple just ones that I picked up at Scrapbook Pal. Stationery Pal. And then in the bottom here, I have just sentiments that are already stamped. So I can just grab those and make a quick card. But these all stack up really nicely and then sit right in that spot in the cart. So it doesn't take up much space, and I get a lot of space now. I didn't realize those little circles were going to fall through the sides, but before that had never happened. Now let's see. Now on the bottom, it's not too exciting and it hasn't really changed much from before. I did consolidate my envelopes, so I've got 2 boxes of envelopes. I've got just a little bin here, and in this bin I have little like die cut scraps and little die cut bookmarks and little die cut banners out of cream and white, so if I need to make a quick sentiment, I can just grab one of those. Then I've got, I just recently went through this. These are white and cream scraps. A bunch of them are watercolor paper scraps, and then I got some just random cardstock scraps. I used to have this all organized by what kind of cardstock it was back in the day, but that organization has long since fallen apart. So it's just watercolor scraps and just cream and white cardstock. So I can, again, stamp a quick sentiment if I need to for a card, which it's very handy. I go for this a lot. And then any of the larger scraps I had in here, I cut them down for my larger bins up top. And then I just got a little piece of fun foam to help when I'm rubber stamping to give me a little bit of squish because my table's not perfectly even. And then, this is such amazing footage. This is wax melting gear. This is just like the kinds you light, and some of the pellets in there, and then the little candle with a little thing. I made this out of a scrap of copper wire, so I can just set my my little metal spoon in there to melt stuff. I've got some random envelopes on the end, just a couple 5x7s and a couple ones with my own return address on it. So if I'm sending out a card from to somebody, not like something I'm going to sell. And then on this side, I have not used this yet, but I thought this was the coolest thing. It's like a date stamp, and it just sits on the edge of the cart. I just think it's kind of cool. I need to use it though. These I've used so much, and I can't even see a dent in the bags. These I picked up at a quilt shop, and they're sold. They're scraps. They're like rotary cut scraps, but they're meant to like cut them into little squares and do mosaics with, like applique mosaics, I guess. But they sell these for $1 a bag, and I grabbed these, and I use these all the time. I love them on my vintage cards. I think they look fantastic. And it just gives you just a little scrap of this pattern, that pattern, adds a little bit of interest, adds a little bit of life and character. So I just love that. So those are staying in there. I'm still having fun and not bored with those yet. These are some more wax melts. This is like, you can get this on Amazon for 12 bucks. Or 11 or 12 bucks, and it comes with a little melty spoon too, so it's a great affordable way to try a bunch of colors before you invest in like a big jar of one color. So you really can't beat the price, and they work just fine. And then I've got different wax seals in here. In the box is a Harry Potter set of wax seals, which I'm not going to open up because everything else will kind of fall apart, but I've got a bunch of Altenew wax seals and a lighter and the metal spoons and all that jazz. But that is what's in my card making cart, and I organized that yesterday, and I was feeling the need to get centered and just to I was just thinking, I feel very dull and lifeless. My light is way over there. I'm just feeling the need to get organized and center myself, and when I'm feeling kind of anxious or just scattered, the best way for me to kind of get centered again and feel calm is to organize something. And so the card making supplies got the organization treatment, and I just want to make cards now. I've actually got a basket of stuff I've pulled that I'm planning a card making video, and it might even be a live one, I'm not sure, but it was actually one of the ideas I had, because I had all these ideas that I wanted to do. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do them all in the span of a 2-hour craft along, but I pulled specific things and kind of prepped some stuff so to make some art cards that I think would be really fun. And also what I like about that is that everybody's is totally unique. Anyone that's watching it, that's following along, everyone's is going to be completely unique because they've got different scraps, but everybody's got little scraps kicking around. Like if you're a painter, you've got little cards, you've got little scraps of watercolor paper with little swatches on them or color wheels on them, and that's the sort of thing that we're going to use to make the cards. So you can look forward to that coming in the next week or two. I haven't filmed it yet. I do have some stuff filmed in the card making world, but I can't remember when if I've scheduled them out or not. I try to work a few weeks ahead so that I'm never like under the gun, like stressed out, like I need to think of something, because I don't work well like that. I like my ideas to have a chance to breathe like a fine wine, and then I can kind of pick them off when I'm feeling inspired to, rather than being like, I need a video tomorrow. Which really, does anyone need a video from me every day? No, they do not. So, not that I'm not doing like 5 days a week, but still, that's a lot. So that's what I did yesterday, and that was so very satisfying to do. I can't explain how much joy seeing that all organized gave me. It's the little things. It's funny. I don't know if I mentioned it the last time we chatted, but, my sister gave me her old elliptical machine, and so I've been using that. I've been using that at night, which has worked out pretty well because my dog all of a sudden has decided that it's too hot to walk in the morning. So if she doesn't, especially if she doesn't feel like going on a long walk, then it's good to get the extra exercise. But it's also like, I don't get a tremendous amount of exercise walking the dog because she likes to stroll and sniff, and it's not like, you know, I'm not getting my heart pounding, I'm not sweating. So to actually like do something that could be considered a workout is good. So I've been doing that at night, and I rearranged the exercise stuff a little bit. So that was satisfying too, to get, you know, I take a good workflow over there. Like I'm going to do I go between, because I don't have enough endurance to do the elliptical like right out straight for 20 minutes. So I do like elliptical for 5 minutes and treadmill for 5 minutes, elliptical for 5. I go back and forth, like, you know, 4 times, so 20 minutes. So I mean, yeah, when I'm on the treadmill, I'll do some little hand weights and, you know, stuff like that. I'm afraid of getting osteoporosis. Well, for one thing, okay, update on my dad. Like last time we chatted, my dad broke his hip. He is doing so much better now. I drove down the Tuesday after he had his operation, because he was just like the medicine they gave him, he was just kind of like either sleeping or out of it when he was awake. And so I came down on that Tuesday after the operation. He stayed awake the whole time I was there. I was there a few hours, and I left by the time he was going to have his afternoon medication. So he was doing better, and then we all went down on Sunday, and he had been up in his chair for like 3 hours before we got there outside, so that was really good. And I think he's even starting to sneak back to work a few hours a day. Even though, like, I think the doctor said it'll be 6 or 8 weeks before you go back to work, and I think he thought they said 6 or 8 days. I don't know, but he's back. He's back. God love him. He's back on the job. For a couple hours a day anyway, but you know, they do want him up in his chair a few hours a day, I think probably to make sure that the joint doesn't stiffen up, because he had I think they replaced his hip, so yeah, it was very painful, but he's doing better. Thank you everyone that's been asking and been keeping him in your thoughts. I do appreciate all of that. That like, positive energy can't hurt. You know, it just can't hurt. Positive energy cannot hurt. So I do appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. So I'm going to head back down tomorrow. I'm going to go down and visit my mom, and actually we're going to go to a yard sale that one of my best friends from high school is having, and her parents, the title of the yard sale. Now my friend Heather she's a vintage reseller. She has like a shop on she posts on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and she finds like really cool stuff and resells it, vintage reselling. And it's called Dear Betty Vintage, if you ever want to look it up. And so she's doing the sale for her parents, and she's calling it Two Old Hippies, because her parents were wicked hippies, and I just loved her parents. They were so awesome, very cool, very liberal. Her dad was an artist, professional artist. He worked at a museum painting murals, and I just thought that was the coolest job. And being able to see like, yes, you can, you know, have artists as a career was very inspiring as a child. Anyways, they were just really nice people, and I'm really excited to go down there and see see what sort of vintage hippie goodies that they are selling. And my daughter Lila is super bummed that she has to work because she would be all over that. So she has sent me with a list, and Heather was asking me if there's anything I'm looking for. I'm like, you know, I love vintage watercolor tins and any sort of vintage art supplies, so I may have some cool things to show you guys. I will definitely post if I find any treasures, because how cool would that be? I mean, I hope he has some vintage art supply stuff to sell. I don't know, maybe he doesn't, but I think most artists are collectors, and we just, I mean, I just imagine the stuff I'm gonna have when I'm in my 70s. Can you imagine the vintage tin, watercolor tin collection that will be on like my yard sale when I'm in my 80s or whatever, and I'm looking to declutter? It would be pretty massive. Already I could probably fill a yard sale, but they're my precious. They're my precious. They're not leaving my hands just yet. That's the thing about a collection as opposed to a hoard. A collection is something that you curate, you add to intentionally, and you remove things occasionally if they don't meet the standards of your collection anymore. And a collection is something you actually just enjoy having. And the nice thing about my collection being vintage watercolor tins and also rubber stamps, the two things I collect, is that I enjoy using them as well as having them. And there is not a single watercolor set or rubber stamp I own that I will not use. So there's no precious. I guess some collections can be precious. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think that you know, these objects are meant to be, they're utilitarian objects, are meant to be used. Just like, what's the point of having, you know, wedding china and never using it, you know, except for maybe like holidays. I guess if you have little kids, obviously, you know, you might be afraid of them getting broken, but I mean, that's a part of life. That's the joy of life, is to use those special things and make every day kind of special. I guess you could say if you do it every day, that's not special anymore, but you know, you're getting enjoyment out of something that you really like. And so many people never use the wedding china. They don't even take it out for holidays, and then, you know, it's going to be on a yard sale someday. You know, you should be the one to enjoy it, not the person that buys it for 25 cents a plate, right? Same thing with your art supplies. Use your stuff, guys. So what else is new? So while I was cleaning, after I did the card cart, I got kind of inspired, and I started to organize the rest of the room a little bit. I mean, it's not perfect, but you know, I was going through and, you know, organizing things I have to review, and putting some stuff back into the room of hoard, which I say tongue-in-cheek. I don't think it's a hoard in there, but it's, you know, my supply room. It's just funny to say room of hoard. I think we all get a giggle out of that. I'm not putting myself down. I think it's a funny way I refer to my supply closet, because, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. And yeah, it's clearing of the mind to organize and clean, I think. Yeah, vacation was good. It was relaxing. I was ready to come home. By the end of it, it was different than previous weeks on the pond. We rented a different place because the place that we had always rented was bought last year, and so we didn't go anywhere last year. And you know, it was a nicer cabin. I mean, it has like drywall and water you can drink and stuff like that. So I mean, it was, you know, objectively a nicer cabin. But I liked the other place. I like the other place better. I don't know if it's just nostalgia, but you know, like Jack stayed. He was working, so he would kind of come up here and there and you know, go for a swim and visit for a bit. But he wasn't staying there. It wasn't the kids all in a room, you know, giggling all night. And you know, they all have their driver's license, so they can come and go as they want. The girls did stay there most of the time. And it was nice and relaxing, but it just wasn't the same. And I'm just kind of having that, like, I think part of the feeling of not being centered is the whole last summer anxiety. You know, it's kind of like, oh, this is the last time we're all gonna do this. This is the last time we're all, you know, be sitting around the table every night. And I mean, we're not even around the table every night, because usually Jack's at work or whatnot, or the girls have plans, or they're working. So, you know, it's kind of that, like, oh, this is like this whole senior year was like, oh, this is the last prom, this is the last homecoming, this is the last softball season. And I think that was part of it, just kind of that, like, oh my word, we gotta go dorm shopping, and we gotta pay the tuition bill, and, you know, just all of the stuff. Everything is just like, oh my word. And then they're gonna be gone. They're gonna be off to college. And every time I find something that I'm gonna be like, well, I won't miss that, I try to like spin it like as a positive thing. It's like, well, I won't have 25 plastic straws to wash in the sink, or the water pump isn't gonna happen on in the middle of the day when I'm filming because there won't be anyone upstairs flushing toilets, doing laundry, taking showers, things like that. Or you know, so I'm trying to think of those positive things so that I'm not so like, oh my word, my babies are leaving. So yeah, I think I'll have a little bit of that feeling for the rest of the summer. I'm hoping to be a wash of calm once they're all settled into their dorms, but yeah, it's just I mean, it's a change that has to happen. It's a change that, it's a normal change. It's a healthy change. I'm so thankful that I have healthy children that are, you know, confident and going off into the world and everything. But it's just a lot. It's a lot to adjust to, especially since my kids are so close in age. You know, the twins that are leaving the nest this year, and then, you know, Jack is not even 2 years older than them. So, you know, I'm sure he'll be, you know, out again soon, and it's a lot to get used to. And then I think of like, well, in about 4 years when the girls are out of college, then, you know, the addition will become my studio instead of, because it's a master bedroom right now, but that was put together with the thought of it being my studio. And so like this room will probably turn into the exercise room, like the home gym, because it's got that like dense rubber flooring in here under the rugs. So it's perfect for an exercise room. And you know, so there will be, you know, there'll be a lot of like good with the bad. There'll be a lot of, you know, sweet with the bitter, but it's a big adjustment. I am sure a lot of you are going through the same with your children, or you have, and you know, you're looking back thinking, oh, I remember those days. But yeah, I think I'm doing pretty well. I think I'm doing remarkably well. The day after we got back from vacation, I was just sitting on the couch having a cup of tea, and just like all of a sudden just got like washed with sadness. And I was like, oh, you know, this, you know, why do I feel sad? It's like I couldn't even put my finger on it. It's like we just got back from a lovely vacation, and you know, why do I feel so down right now? And Jason's like, it's because of the lasts, you know, it's, you know, I don't know. I mean, will we do a camp next year? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, as lovely as it was, I don't know if we will. I'm sure they'll be busy. I'm sure they'll be busy, you know, and I don't think I want to be out there for a full week unless everybody's out there enjoying it, you know. You know, I can throw a kayak in a vehicle and go to the pond anytime. You know, we got a lot of close ponds. We did climb the Parks Pond Bluff though, and that was a lot of fun. And I took some photos from the top, and that was neat. I'll definitely drive out there and do that again. Maybe bring my paints with me. And that was another reason I really wanted to start using that elliptical machine and getting in better shape, because not only do I want to make sure my bones are strong so I don't break a hip, but also, you know, when I was running up the mountain behind my girls and the dog, I was thinking, holy cow, I'm out of shape. It was a pretty steep, I mean, we were all going fast because we wanted to see the sunset, but then it got cloudy and started to rain, so we didn't see much of a sunset. But like, I'm like hoofing it behind these girls, and I'm like, oh my word, I'm not 17 anymore. I need to like, I need to work out. I need to like really make sure I'm not going to get osteoporosis or heart disease or any of those other maladies that you can get when you get older. So, and plus it feels good to improve yourself. You know, your kids are going off to do their thing to improve themselves, and you know, build their lives to what they want to be, and it just reminds you, it's like, it's not too late for us. It's not too late for us to live the life we want to live and to build the future we want to have. It's never too late. So it's you know, just I'm trying to use that as an inspiring thing as well, because I'm so excited for them. You know, I'm so excited for them. But anyway, that was this week's Sat Chat. Thank you so much for visiting with me today, and I will see you in the comments. Bye!